Hey there, friend. Welcome to the Having a Mom Moment podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Warner. This podcast is all about taking a few moments for yourself and reconnecting to the amazing woman behind the title of mom. You have so many plates spinning at any given time between your kids, your partner, your job, maintaining a household, etc., etc. But where does taking time just for you play into that? Let's spend some time together, you and me, right now. We're going to connect, tune in, and tap into what makes us the incredible woman that we are. We'll nurture ourselves so that we can pour into those who can count on us. We'll also hear from other moms to learn about the ways in which they've tapped into alignment in their own motherhood journeys. Let's roll. We're having a mom moment. Hello, my friends. I am back this week with part 2 of my conversation with Mary, our sweet mama-to-be. And listening back to this conversation and doing the editing, I got goosebumps. I kind of forgot about some of the juiciness that came about during that second part of the conversation, but I am really excited to share it with you today, and I hope you enjoy it.
So, what are you looking forward to most in becoming a mom?
I feel like we're all looking for a sense of purpose just in general in life. And I don't know, becoming a mom gives me that sense of purpose and that drive that I think maybe I didn't have before. And it's kind of like a catalyst for that. It doesn't mean that's going to become everything, every facet of who I am. It's almost like driving me in personal growth in other areas of my life. It's making me a better, like, friend, like partner, like wife, partner to Seth.
Mm-hmm. No,
It
resonates.
Yeah, like instead of just kind of like, not that I felt like I was flailing before, but I do feel like I was just I wasn't living super purposefully or intentionally.
Which is okay. That's
yeah.
okay for a period in your life. You're supposed to do that. I think that's just part of it. But
exactly, I think you're supposed to be kind of like unsure and uncertain, and that there's beauty in that. But then kind of like grounding in that, like now that I'm more grounded, I feel like I have more fun. I feel like I don't care about the same things in the way I did before, in a good way, not in not in a negative way, like in a way that makes me feel better, helps my self-esteem.
No. I think the answer you gave was really good. And I think it's beautiful that you're anticipating that, because I got a lot of that out of it but I wasn't expecting it. So I think you're like right on the money.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. And maybe I wouldn't feel this way if I weren't my age. Like, maybe if I was mid-20s or a bit younger, like maybe I'd feel like it would come later. But I feel like because I'm 30, going to be 31, most likely when birth, it just feels like I've already gone through the questioning part of my life,
Yeah.
I know who I am. And so it's like adding this other layer of purpose.
I love it. Something about having little girls, I think, not that we need to protect them, but I feel so empowered as like a girl mom, because I feel like we have such important work to do to like raise the next generation of like strong women, because I feel like we're doing a lot. I'm not trying to take credit for anything, but I think, we're doing a lot for like setting down things that don't serve us and like
definitely
just moving forward as in more alignment across the board. And like, if we can lay that foundation, like what they're going to do is just going to be amazing. I think it's going to be amazing. We have I'm a little woo, and we have a friend of the family who is clairvoyant. And she said, when I had Emerson, she said, this generation of children is here to change the world. And I look at my girls and I'm like, yes, like I see it. It's like, yes. So it feels like, if nothing else, I brought them here, and like, that is purpose fulfilled, if nothing else.
Oof, I love that. And that's what's so cool. I think the idea of, it's like, yes, there are children, but it's so much more than that. It's like, it's not about laying claim on like, well, I'm, you're my kid and I'm the parent, and you do right. It's like, there's a time and a place for that in childhood, but at a certain point, it needs to be like the child becoming independent and
Mhm.
really like figuring out what they want. And
Mhm.
there's just that, like, I feel like other generations, there was maybe that pressure on like, well, I want you to do this, so you
Yeah.
need to do that. And I really just don't think that's going to be the case for a lot of our generation, our generation's parents. I mean, maybe, but I just don't really see myself being, you need to do this, you need to do that.
Mhm.
I don't think my mom was never like that. Like, she never made us feel like we needed to do, you must do this, you must do, she really gave us freedom to like understand our creativity and make mistakes and
Mhm.
learn from them.
Mhm.
Um, like it was never this tightly wound, environment where I felt like I couldn't grow and get to know myself and fail and get back up. And so that's
Yeah.
really cool. But I think that it's rare. I think for her,
Yes.
normally it was like, no, you need to do this. Otherwise, like, it's kind of, conditional. And I don't think that's helpful for children to have all these crazy conditions put on them.
Agreed. Or
I agree.
doing things just because that's the way they've always been done, like really just like, now, does this serve our family? Does this really serve our children? Like, why are we doing things this way? Because we've always done them that way is not a good enough answer.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
But that's a really cool point that, like, your family friend said that this generation is here to kind of bring kind of new fresh energy. Because yeah, like, what a cool purpose, bringing new
Mhm.
life in general. And then if you can, I think we can all learn from each other. I don't people get so caught up on age, and they're like, oh,
Mhm.
well, you don't know because you're younger. And there's always these things like, oh, I can't do that because I'm too young. Oh, I can't do that because I'm too old. Like, huh?
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
bizarre.
Just
Why is it that you're so young? Oh, then you're too old. What?
no, and I will say, and this is me, and how I am a little bit, but I'm a little woo. I'm pretty woo, and I think that kids come from source, and your soul is eternal, and they've already had a journey of some kind, and they come here very close to what they knew before, in the soul sense. And the farther they get from birth, they begin to forget things because the societal conditioning is imposed on them. But some of the things that Emerson has said to me, my mind is like, for example, currently not working. And Emerson, one day, she was like kind of trying to figure out what my job situation was, like what was happening. And I said, well, it's going to be fine. Like, we're fine. Don't worry about it. I said, but, I would like a job so that I can bring in more money, to our household. And she's like, just go out and get some more money. It's everywhere. And I immediately wanted to be like, no. And then I was like, wait a minute, though. Like, let's get real. Like,
Yeah.
let's look at this. Like, if I had to go come up with $500, could I? Yeah, probably pretty quickly. Like, it really is everywhere. But we have such a, like, this stringent view of like, I have a job and that's where the money comes from. But she's out here like, no, like, it's everywhere. What do you mean? It's abundant. It's limitless. There's no scarcity. Like, that is what she said to me in her little 6-year-old statement of like, there's money everywhere. Just go get some more. It's like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, like they
And
know.
you were
They
so
know.
quick to say no. You said
I
no. You're
I
so
stopped
quick to shut the
myself.
door.
I didn't
Mhm.
say it, but that was my ego was like, nah. And then I was like, no, like, you're right. You're totally right. It's not that big of a deal. And yeah, there is money everywhere, so it's been fun when she says something and then I catch myself and my ego being like, wait.
Mm.
That's not true. Yeah.
Well,
It's like, no.
I love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
kids. I totally agree. I think kids come from, like, it's so interesting because sometimes, yeah, the things they say or the things they know, you're like, how would they know that? But how would they
Yes.
know that they're a child? Where, like, it's not, and then you realize it's not something they learned. It's just something they know. It's so bizarre.
Yes. Yeah.
But kids are a lot smarter than we give them credit for, I think.
I think
And
even if you don't believe that way, yes, still true.
yeah, And there's just, I don't know, discounting, kids or younger people, anything to be like, well, they're young and they don't know. It's like, oh, come on now. Like even at 20, there's still a lot of, even though you feel like a kid, there's still a lot of wisdom. I don't feel that different than when I was 20. I feel like better, stronger, like more self-aware and more myself, but it doesn't mean that I felt any different about the world. Like I still have that same passion and drive and like, I don't know. And like curiosity. So I feel like, and you're right. It's like the further you get away from childhood, you think back to how the world is your oyster. And then for some reason you grow up and you like insulate yourself for some strange reason. And you think you just can't do the things you want to do in life or say what you want to say.
Because you're getting feedback that's telling you that you can't.
Yes. Yeah. And so you're like, okay, I guess I shouldn't do that to protect myself. And then you wake up one day and you realize it's all like, it's all a lie.
As Kathy says, it's all a hologram. It's all made up. It's all a hologram. Like,
yes, like, yeah, exactly. It's like, who told you you couldn't do what you wanted or be who you want to be? I think most of the time, nobody tells you that.
Exactly. Nobody. Most of the time it's yourself. Yeah. It's so wild and it's so true. And I think kids know it and then we lose it. And then as you get older, and I think it comes with age a little bit. And I think, again, like we said, it comes with children because you're just like, I'm just too tired. Like I'm not fighting this nonsense anymore because it's not actually true for me.
Exactly. Yeah. Like just because you're feeling something, you don't have to trust every single emotion you feel. Right.
100%.
Like
100%.
Doesn't need to be totally accurate every time.
Yeah. We talk a lot. Kathy talks a lot about this. And her Abundant Ever After course, big fan, but it's just like a feeling is just a feeling. Like it doesn't have to be, the truth. And you can feel it and you can acknowledge it and then you can just let it pass and let it go. And you don't have to spiral and you don't have to fixate and it doesn't fix anything. Like just let it go and just reach for something that feels just a little bit better. And it can like change the whole trajectory of your day. And if you're doing that daily, like if you're doing that daily, how is that going to change the trajectory of your month, of your year, and so on? And if you're modeling that for your kids, like, holy crap, like what's that going to do for the world? That's why I think, having these kids and like having an open mind is just like the work is so powerful. And that's coming from someone who like did not have a strong maternal drive, like I wanted to teach and I wanted to work with children, but like have that like, but you go home to your loving parents at the end of the day, and then like it has definitely come up for me and being a mom is like, oh my gosh, like this is the work, everything else is important too, but like
right now,
this is the work. So I'm excited for you to get into it because, you're going to go through these moments of like, holy crap, like, oh my gosh, like this is so incredible. And you're just holding this little baby. And Ryan and I had this moment today. We took the girls to a little, Emerson's last day of school is tomorrow, but she's actually going to Ryan's mom's for a few days until her summer program starts up. And we were like, let's do something fun since she won't be here, tomorrow afternoon after school, for the last day of school kind of celebration thing. And so we went and had like a pizza picnic at the park and I just paused and we had Everly and they were kind of like running around in the grass together. And I was like, we made these two gorgeous little humans, like, and they're adorable, like physically they're cute kids, but I'm just like, they're just beautiful little beings. And I'm like, we made them, like we did that, it's like,
like just looking around and being like, wow, look at my life, and like, it's okay to like simmer in it and be like, this is nice. I enjoy this. It doesn't have to be this like waiting for the next shoe to drop. Like what a negative way to look at life. Life is going to be negative enough without you even trying to make it more negative. Right. Yeah. And it's like, and children can help you ground and like just be present, because they're so present. They don't have the same things going on. I think it reminds us to, like, it's not that deep. Nothing's that deep and serious.
No, seriously.
But we make everything this, like, not all of us, but I know I'm guilty of it sometimes. Like, oh, this thing happened or whatever. It's not that deep.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be this like dramatic event. You can just live and be joyful. And like you said, reach for something that feels just like a little bit better, and try not to fixate on something that really doesn't matter.
Yeah. I really encourage you to try to hang on to that mindset as you move into the early days with baby.
I know I'll have my moments. I guarantee you my
we're
moments.
only human at the end of the day, and we're tired when we bring babies home, so, but if you have that like in place now, if you can, even if you need to, like, I think even just like writing yourself a reminder somewhere where you can like stick it and like, okay, like you said, it's not that deep,
you're right.
It's not that deep. That. Like stick it on your bathroom mirror when you're like having a moment. You're like, okay, wait a minute. Like baby didn't sleep well, or baby didn't eat the way I thought, or I'm having a harder time with this piece of this than I thought I would. Like, it's not that deep. Like, it's going to be okay. You're all going to survive. You're all going to get through it.
Yeah. I love that. I am going to write myself a note, because every time I tell myself that it's not that deep, I do immediately feel better.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's actually not worth like spiraling over.
Yeah, stopping the spiral. And it's so easy to do it with the baby, because you're like, like they're just only
everything
relying
feels
on me
so
for
immediate,
everything.
right? Yeah.
Oof. Yeah.
This
And
is a very good conversation to have right before birth. This is good.
Oh,
This is good
I
stuff
got
for
you.
me.
I got you. And if you need to set her down, even if she's
Right.
screaming, like if she's clean and she's fed or whatever, like lay her down in her snoo, take a minute, go in the bathroom, like give yourself a pep talk. And that's totally acceptable. It's okay.
Totally.
As long as they're somewhere safe, you can set them down and walk away. Doesn't make you a mean person. They're not going to remember it in therapy in 30 years. Like, they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. So
there is no perfect. It's an illusion in life in general, is perfection. So it's like, it's gonna be just fine.
Yeah. And I'm here for both sides. Like, if you want a pep talk, or you just want to be
I know.
I'm covered in shit and I am miserable today, I got you for that too. Like, I am here for all of it.
Exactly. I know. It's like the days I'm spicy and the days I'm not. On the days I'm spicy, you're like, I love when you're spicy.
Yeah. If you need me, like, send me like an emoji first so I know which direction we're going, and I'm like, here, I'll just receive, and whatever you need, I'll just reflect back to you. I got you. It's some people don't want to talk about the hard stuff, but like, it's beautiful, but it's hard, and not talking about it doesn't make it any easier, and it doesn't make anyone else feel any better when they have an experience and they're like, but everyone else made it sound so great and I'm over here crying on the floor. Like,
it's so weird. It's like, I wish people would just be more honest. Like, truly, I have really, which I know sounds like a lie, but I've truly enjoyed pregnancy. Like, honestly, now I know that I've had it a bit easier than other women. I've never had any puking, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I never had that stuff. And I just, I really have. But honestly, at this point, I'm enjoying it a little less. I'll be honest, like, I'm huge and uncomfortable and can't get, can't sleep very well. Fine. But, just, I just want to, it's just not worth it to me to be dishonest about that. Like, when I was feeling awesome, I'm gonna be like, you know what? People ask how I'm feeling. I feel awesome. But so how you feeling? I'm like, I'm a little uncomfortable. I don't feel amazing, but that's okay, because I will feel amazing. It's gonna be fine. It is what it is. And so
the honesty.
Just being real about how it's gonna be. There are gonna be some really, really hard times, and then you're just gonna, but usually in the mess of it, you find little nuggets of beauty, and you're like, holy shit,
If you just remember, like, everything is a phase or a stage, and like whatever they're in, like whatever, like, quote unquote battle you're fighting that week, whether it be like they're just not going down for the nap midday, or they're just like, anytime you set them down, they're losing their mind, whatever it is, like none of it lasts. It's
Exactly.
only, it's a couple of weeks, maybe a month top, and then you move forward. And like, even Everly, like last month, she decided to grow like all of her teeth within like a month. Like she did like the baby thing around 8 or 9 months and grew like the first, 8 in the front, but like the rest of them all just like came in like at one time in like a 1 month span. And she was a treat.
Oh yeah.
She was just a delight, let me tell you. But it's like, you know what? Like when we figured out what was going on, because we're like, oh, did that teeth go? Oh, there's another one. Wait a minute. Did that one? Oh, there's another one. Oh, there's a molar. What's happening? And then, today we looked at each other and went, I think we got through it. And now I think we're done. Like, I think the worst of teething is behind us. And you know what? We know we're done having children. So like that phase we can, lay to rest and move forward.
Exactly.
So that feels like a victory too. Even just with the one, even if you're having more, if you're like, oh, we've gotten through that, that's good.
Yeah, like exactly. What weathering, like we were saying earlier, like just because something's hard doesn't mean it's bad.
Right.
Weather, a storm and being like, okay, well, it looks like we're through it.
Yeah.
That's like part of life, and that's part of strengthening, because you always know when something happens, there will be the light, there will be the resolve, there will be that light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And then when it does happen, then it's done, it's resolved. You always knew it would be resolved. So
yeah. I think too,
yeah.
if I could go back and tell myself, like, don't take it personally. Like the baby does not have a vendetta against you. The baby is crying because they are having a hard time. It's not because you're messing anything up. Like this is just a challenge, and it's not any reflection on you or your abilities. They're just struggling because they are, growing 4 teeth, or because they do have a diaper rash, or because they have gas, and it's nobody's fault,
That is such a good piece of advice. And because I love that. It's not this personal thing. They're babies. They're going through things that are brand new for them. And nothing you're doing wrong.
Yeah. And I think we take that on as women. I think it's less about men. I think it happens for them when they're older, and then the child clearly has a favored, like I prefer this parent, like that's when they take it personal, but we take everything personal because we're like, we're the mom, we birth them, we feed them, if we choose that way from our bodies, then
Such a good point.
Yeah.
Exactly. I will definitely remember that. I will definitely remember that.
Yeah. I'm your girl. Either way, I got you. Like you just
I know you do. You're gonna be like my daily musings. How about that? My daily
Mary's motherhood musings.
Yes, my mother.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. You could start a whole thing for Mary's motherhood musings.
Oh,
that's a mouthful. I'm writing it down in case you're like, what was that great idea I had?
Yeah, what was that thing you said at 10 p.m.?
Yeah. So, I'm very well versed in that working mom life. Is there anything on that front that I can answer for you, or anything that you're wondering about? Or are you just like, let's roll? It's going to be good. It's fine.
Yeah, I feel like let's roll. It's almost like I've planned to a degree, and then I'm kind of leaving. I've like planned time to not plan, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. Absolutely.
And so that's cool. Like that feels freeing, because then I'm like, okay, anything goes. Maybe I don't sleep that night, and I literally sleep all day, and like Seth takes a baby. I mean, whatever. And I wouldn't say I have anything specific.
No worries.
Yeah. And I was thinking about that question too earlier, and I mean, thank God for remote work. I think
Amen.
That's a big challenge that I know a lot of moms still need to obviously go into an office, or what they do can't. We always joke with Seth that we're like, can't you be a remote firefighter? Like we just joke about that.
Point the hose over there. I mean, they do robotic surgeries. I think we're getting closer.
Yeah. Like, tell me about what's going on. What do you got there? Yeah. So a lot of women still obviously need to go in somewhere. I feel like that's like lifted a huge weight off of just like that reality. And I know obviously you've experienced you've had,
both.
Exactly. And you've had to go in and then you were able to stay home. So, I mean, what would you say that you have, were there pros and cons either way? I think I can imagine you preferred with Everly being home, but is there any reason why you would have maybe preferred going into an office?
I think the only piece for going in, for me personally was, and I love remote work, so this is saying something, but I had coworkers who were friends, and it was nice to get a break from mom life and like go in and be around people that I liked, because I wasn't always seeing people outside of work, like I used to. So it was nice to be like, and we had a lot of great people that we worked with. So it was sometimes nice to have that, to, have adult conversations with people I liked. But hands down, remote work is 10,000 times more conducive. Yeah.
Just because if you need a minute to just handle something, wash something, whatever you need to do for
the laundry, Mary, the laundry.
Yeah.
I would spend my whole weekend doing laundry because despite my best intentions, I could come home and throw a load in. I'd inevitably forget about it, have to wash it again, that whole thing. Whereas, I can just throw a load in between these calls or whatever, like that. Yeah, things like that are just huge. And then when your kid is sick, you don't feel like you're letting everybody down because you have to leave work to get your child. And then you don't know, at the time we weren't really set up to fully work in those situations, like we could do a little bit, but not a lot. And so then it was like, great, like I'm trying to handle what I can from whatever device I have at home, and kind of having to ignore my kid in the process, but kind of having to ignore my work. Whereas when you're fully set up, I mean, Emerson had an ear infection. I took her to the doctor in the morning. We got her antibiotics. I was gone maybe an hour, came back. She slept on my floor here, her choice. She wanted to nap. I had her all set up in like a little like sleeping bag. Like she conked out on the floor for 3 hours, was able to be near me. I was still able to get my stuff done and not fall behind. And it was just like, if I have to be a working mom, like this is primo. Like this is, the best of both worlds. So
yeah, exactly. Like just to have that flexibility of having things happen around the home while you're there. Like, okay, well, I need to get some things done. Everyone good? Like, and you're not, oh, well, what am I going to walk into when I get home today? What do I have waiting for me there? You can kind of pre-plan, hey, this is what's going down today.
Or even if you're just like able to preheat the oven and throw dinner in before you end your day, so you can eat at a decent time. So, like that is huge too. And I highly recommend freezer meals if you guys haven't made any yet. Or if somebody wants to make you some, make some. Ryan would straight up deliver you his chicken tetrazzini, which was actually Sarah, her aunt. Remember Sarah? It was her aunt's chicken tetrazzini recipe that she made for us whenever Emerson was born. Yeah. So now that's what Ryan like makes for people because it's just like good home, like
send it
to your ribs.
I'll make it.
Yeah, I'll send you the recipe. Yeah.
I'm gonna put a couple in. Thankfully, my mom will be here for like a couple weeks. They'll be staying house down, and she's like hilarious. She'll want to cook 1,000 meals a day.
Good. Let her.
I know. She'll be like, I have these 8,000 different options for you guys to eat today.
Perfect.
Which one would you like? And she's
perfect.
Funny like that. So, but I'll put a couple in the freezer just to have, in like a pinch or whatever.
Yeah.
And my friend just made me pot pie last night, and she was like, this might be a good meal for like the freezer. And I was like, you're right, because they're so easy, and like you said, stick to your ribs meal.
Because you're going to be so hungry if you nurse like or breastfeed or whatever we want to call it, like the calories that you burn.
I heard it's
you're like, I'll take
a day.
You're like, I'll take 3 more servings, please. I'm starving.
I'm rushing Chick-fil-A. I can already see that. I think that's what I want my post-birth meal to be, is Chick-fil-A.
Yes, that's so good. Do it. Yeah. I mean, you can eat it beforehand, but
I mean, I had it the other day. It was excellent.
I was like, why are we stopping? Why are we limiting our joy? Not. Like, that's so
exactly.
funny.
Don't postpone Chick-fil-A joy.
No, whatever it is. Yeah. And then have your margaritas ready. It'll be so good. Yeah.
I cannot wait. It's going to be delightful.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to say something about breastfeeding or pumping, but I forgot what it was. So
I'll have to figure out pumping. I have a pump from that site you sent me to like get it for free for insurance. And I literally, it's just in the box. I'm like, I don't know how to use you, but I have the box.
Yeah, I figured it out when I got home. I was like, here we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and I have a hand pump too, like the Haka or whatever.
I have not Hawked, but I love like the Medela hand pump. They might give you one at the hospital.
Okay.
Of course they charge your insurance, like it's not free, but if nothing else, like if you do pump, like it allows dad to feed baby.
Yeah.
You know, if it just means that you can take a nap, like, oh, I would love to sleep right now, but I know when the baby wakes up in an hour, they're going to be hungry. Oh, look, here's a bottle, you know?
Yes, exactly. I know Seth will get real into it, you know, he'll be like, okay, this has been out for, you know, this is ready. You know, I'm sure he'll get all excited.
That's so funny. I know the men get very into it. Like Ryan would like get the dry erase marker and like write on the bottle, like what time we took it out. So he knew, and like everyone knew because my mother was living with us, you know, whenever we came home, like everybody knows this bottle is good until 6 p.m.
Yeah, no, that will totally be set. He'll like put timers on his phone, I'm sure, and be like, okay, all right, that's up. Expired.
Oh my God. No. And then if it quote unquote expires, which the window is longer than all the rules that we go by. It's just, you know, like a safety thing, but save it for a milk bath. Like don't ever toss breast milk.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't consider a milk bath.
So just put it in a jar or something that you're comfortable and like label it accordingly. So nobody like uses it and stick it in your eyes. My daughter is 16 months old and I still have like half a mason jar of milk with a big like milk bath only label on it. But she had like really bad diaper rash last week. So I just poured some in the bath and it's like
that is
miracle
so
worker.
awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Anyway, I know you're working and you're preparing to have a baby, but you also have this side project that you're working on that's super fun. So I would love for you to share that with everybody.
I would love to. Yeah, it's been really, really fun. My business partner and friend Marla and I have begun a little garden business called Garden Tonic. You can find us on Instagram. Our handle is at the Garden Tonic. Tonic is spelled TONIC. And what we just love gardening. It's just really fun for us. It's been part of our lives for a while. So what we're trying to do is work in garden consults for our local community, along with a YouTube channel where we talk about all sorts of things, chatty videos, garden tours, things like that. And then we're hoping to do some DIY classes in the area, like think girls' night out, you know, let's have some wine and pot plants at like one of the wineries.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we're really excited. We're in the very beginning stages, but we're kind of at the point of like, you know, let's go for it. Let's do it. And where it goes. And it's been so fun. Our whole mission statement is just centered around just staying curious in the garden and not taking yourself too seriously.
Yes.
And anyone can garden, you know, it can be as simple as some like easy things like herbs or lettuces all the way up to more, you know, blossoming things like tomato plants or peppers. It doesn't have to be, like we were saying, it's not that deep, you know, it can just be fun. And so that's really it. We're just having a lot of fun with it. And so I hope your listeners will want to follow along as well. We have big dreams and goals for product lines down the road and all sorts of, we're dreaming big. We're not putting barriers on for Garden Tonic. So
I love that. We will definitely drop all the little links to your things. Have you started your YouTube channel?
We don't have any videos up yet. We have, you can find us and it will be blank. We have a beautiful header. It's
that's great. Well, you know what? Maybe some people will listen and they can be there waiting for you when the first video pops up. And you know what? Just do it messy. We've talked about messy, like just do it messy and get it up there and have fun.
That's kind of our thing is we're not trying to make everything so perfect and pristine. We just want to show our transparency of just like, this is just something we enjoy and we just want to share it with the world. And it just feels so good to share it in any capacity. And so our YouTube, it's the Garden Tonic, but I think if anyone searched Garden Tonic as well, I think it would pop up.
When did we start talking about all this stuff? It was before we left North Carolina. Like, it was 2020.
Yeah.
When we started, the day we went to the orchard, was that it?
It had to have been. I mean, we've both wanted to do something impactful for years, but we didn't really know what. Like, we not pinpoint what that was for each other. Like, we just, you know what I mean? And so just so proud of you for pursuing having.
Thank you. I'm proud of you too. Well, your post was the one that I was like, screw it. If Mary can put it out there, like, I can put it out there. Like,
it is. I know it's stressful. Like, but people generally, they're so excited to be part of something, and it does inspire other people to be like, I don't have to hide who I am. I don't have to blend in and be a wallflower. Like, it's okay. I think part of why we don't want to shine is because we like think it's gonna like hurt other people, but really you end up lifting up others, and it's always with the best intentions. So
and there's enough goodness to go around. Like, you're not taking anything from anybody by doing something.
Exactly. I think that's such a good point. I think I struggled with that for years of like, what will people think, or will this like harm someone else? Like, strange stuff that isn't true, that you just like decide is true one day.
Right.
So I'm just so proud of us for talking about it for years and finally freaking doing something about it.
I can't wait to see where we go. And I think what's fun too is like, this is what feels good for now, and I'm going to follow this for where it takes me for now. But if it isn't the be all end all, like, that's okay too. It can morph and turn into something else. I'm just going to kind of trust the journey and do what feels good. And
I foresee a book in your future. I foresee a book. I know, and that just popped into my mind, and I don't know why, but I just all of a sudden I pictured Having a Mom Moment is a book.
Okay. You heard it here first. No, I don't know. Who knows? It's so interesting. I don't know how big into meditation you are, but it's like, when I meditate, like, the things that come up, I'm like, whoa, like, that wasn't on my radar. Like, okay. So that's the first time book has come up though. So we'll see.
That's weird. We've been, of all the times we've been talking about having a mom moment, I never once thought book. It never popped in my head until now.
Me either.
Your angle, I think, would be interesting, for a book, and it could be so many different. It could be whatever you want, really.
It's interesting. Yeah. And with self-publishing, like, anybody. That's the point. Like, quit making excuses. There is a way, and you don't have to have like a fine arts degree and creative writing or like whatever. You don't have to have the credentials you think you have to have. You just have to, have the motivation and the willingness to get out of your own way and put down those limiting beliefs, because they're bullshit. So,
yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I think this has been so fun. I don't, always know where the conversations are going to go, but this has been really juicy, and I appreciate all of your insight. And I'm so excited for your baby girl to get here and to find out what you name her. I cannot wait. Like, my cheeks hurt. I'm so excited for you to become a mom. I can't wait.
I know, I've been sworn to secrecy. Seth refuses to let me tell anyone her name, so I'm sworn to secrecy, but you'll find out soon.
Fair. I can wait. I will honor that and respect that. I can wait. And then we'll for sure get you back on for a part 2. Who knows? Maybe even a part 3. Maybe we'll do like a maternity leave part 2, and then like
I love that
transition back into all the things, because you have just, besides being a huge cheerleader for me, like, you always have like such a good point of view, and like, you always, as we've heard here, like, you've got such good juicy tidbits, and like, hey, have you thought about this? And like, amazing. Yes. And
to you. That's why we align so much. That's why we always align, because you bring the different point of views, and I go, didn't think about it that way. It's so interesting.
Yeah. I know it took us 3 years to get to like this point where we're jumping off into our little ventures, but like it's gonna happen. Like the ball is gonna start rolling. It's gonna be really fun. So
it has to. Success is inevitable when you put in the right energy.
Yes. Amen. I love it. Abundance all around, ma'am. Well,
thank
you so much for your time today. I hope you can get some rest.
I love you so much.
I love you.
I'm just so happy to do this. It's been super fun.
Thank you so much. Thank you for just letting me bask in your energy again. I miss you a lot. So we'll have to catch up.
I miss you.
We'll have to catch up before episode 2 and before that baby gets here. So we'll talk.
I know.
Real soon. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for joining us and dropping your juicy little nuggets on us.
Well, thank you for having me, and I can't wait to be back.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening in today, and I hope you enjoyed part 2 of the conversation with Mary. Thank you, Mary, again for your time. It's been so much fun. Here are this week's key takeaways. 1. Examine the patterns you're perpetuating in different areas of your life, whether it be in parenting or just rules that you live by. Are there any that no longer serve you that you can set down? 2. Our little ones are so magical with a beautiful view on the world. They can bring so much wisdom if we're just open to receiving it. 3. When it comes to babies, don't take it personally. You're learning each other's patterns and preferences, and it takes time. Give yourself all the grace. 4. I think we know it, but it bears repeating. Remote work is peak working mom goals. Life feels much easier with the flexibility of being at home when you have little ones for all of those unexpected daycare interruptions. And lastly, who told you you couldn't do what you wanted to do or be who you wanted to be? If there's something you want to do, get after it. Set down the perfectionism and do it messy. In case you missed it, the details for Mary's business, The Garden Tonic, will be in the show notes. If you're into gardening or you just love to support women entrepreneurs, go check them out. Thanks again for joining me today, and until next time, come hang out with me on socials at Having a Mom Moment on Instagram and Facebook. And if you're interested in sharing your own motherhood experience or share your knowledge on a topic that's helpful for moms, I would love to connect. Go ahead and fill out that guest application in the show notes, and we can start planning your episode. In case no one has told you today, you are amazing, you are loved, and I am so proud of the woman that you are. Bye, Mama.